Welcome to the ANEW Insight Podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogram Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. I follow my guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Hello and welcome. I am so thrilled to have fellow TEDx Temecula speaker, founder of the Phoenix Effect, and nervous system coach, Beth Bishop, with us today. Beth, hello, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to pick your brain because your talk was so inspirational and so relatable. And I think everyone can benefit from really understanding their stress response and how they can control it naturally. And you are definitely the person to do this and have the story to match. Before we get started, though, I'm going to read a little bit about Beth, and then I am going to jump into the questions I have for her. Beth Bishop is a TEDx Temecula speaker, founder of the Phoenix Effect, and a nervous system coach who helps high achievers overcome anxiety, panic, and burnout without losing their drive or ambition. After experiencing profound burnout as a business owner, Beth turned her personal healing journey into a professional mission, studying neuroscience based stress regulation and mind body approaches to resilience. She now teaches practical methods for calming the nervous system, stopping panic in the moment, and creating sustainable success rooted in emotional well being rather than constant hustle. Oh my gosh, we need to hear about this today, especially. Beth works with individuals, teams, and organizations seeking high performance with balance and mental clarity. Beth, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So excited to talk to you today, especially because in learning more about you as we went through the speaker journey, your story is so relatable, and it's especially relatable coming in and out of COVID, which was a horrible time for
Mhm.
everyone, but especially gym owners in particular. Gym owners were really struck hard during COVID. If you could give us a picture of, not even when you had the gym, but even before that, what has your journey been like, with stress, and how did you turn the corner?
Yeah. Well, I think everyone deals with a healthy amount of stress. Well, an unhealthy amount of stress. I guess what 83% of Americans have symptoms of chronic stress, so it's not healthy. So I'm like many of you all. I started feeling extremely anxious in my early 20s when I was working my first corporate job and I was sitting in my cubicle and my chest was tightening and I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this going to be the rest of my life? And am I going to be stuck behind a desk and a monitor just like typing all day?" I just felt so suffocated and so not free.
Mm.
Um, so I ended up leaving that job.
Thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully, and going into fitness. And as I became a trainer, I learned more about, exercise and regulating my nervous system, but I didn't really feel the intense stress and anxiety until I became a business owner.
Mm.
And it turns out, when you create a brick and mortar gym, you inherit a little bit of debt. And I had about $250,000 of debt. And I didn't know how to handle that. And that's when my anxiety just came rushing back. It was brutal. There were days when I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't think clearly. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I was just like, this is so awful. My life is so perfect on paper. I have all the things, but I just can't get out of bed in the morning. I feel so stressed and so just dead inside. So I went to therapy. I tried all the things, cognitive behavioral therapy, lots of talk methods, not a lot of the somatic work. I tried medications. They helped ish, but it didn't actually help to really, it felt like it was masking it, right? And then one night I was standing up to just go from the dinner table to go sit down and watch some TV and relax, and I ended up collapsing and getting a concussion because I was on the wrong medicine because apparently you can't have a certain type of medicine if your blood pressure is low. Anyway,
Mm.
in that moment, I felt so failed by the system. I'd been doing all the things, but I was still on the floor. And so I got fed up with it. And I was like, there has to be another way. This can't be the only way, me venting in my therapy sessions every week and masking with medication.
Yes. So let's, and I just want to piggyback on that. I think this is so relatable. And I personally have gone through a journey like that in my 20s as well. When I used to be in the entertainment industry. And so when I came into that as my profession, and that was how I was making my money, oh my gosh, the anxiety and the panic about having to try to, make money from something that's so, you know, mercurial,
Mhm.
it was overwhelming, and I went to the doctor because I had had a panic attack, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, am I having a heart attack? Like, what's going on?" And immediately the first thing they did was give me medication.
Yep.
And I thought, "Oh, okay, I guess, and I tried 1 dose and I felt like a zombie, and then I was like, "Oh no, I can't. This
No.
I can't have this. This makes me numb and I need my emotions." So it was through a process of just trying to figure it out. I was like, "Okay, I know that there's these points that you can, like, hold and, like, oh, maybe I'll get all, like." I had to teach myself. I didn't even have a therapist. So I
Mm,
think, a lot of people just kind of stumble their way through and a lot of things are thrown at them. But what I love about your talk, and this is what we're going to get into, is that you can't do anything cognitively
mm-mm.
for anxiety and panic until you calm your nervous system.
That's right.
And this is the powerful stuff here. And I really firmly believe, and I work with my clients every time, that nothing can be resolved without regulating the nervous system. And if we can learn how to tap into that, then everything is possible. So give me a picture of how you figured all of that out for yourself.
Yeah. Well, I love how holistic you are, and I think that's what makes you so special, right? Because it's easy to go the route of what everybody else is doing, but solutions to these issues are so multifaceted. It's not just like take the medicine, you're fine, go on with your merry way. It doesn't work like that. We would love
Mhm,
it to work like that, but it doesn't.
mhm,
So I was out on a walk with my dog Mara, and another dog that lived in the neighborhood. When she was a puppy, she was bit by a pit bull, so she's very scared of anything that looks like a pit bull, even if it's a French bulldog. She's
mhm.
afraid. Trauma response, okay? And
Oh,
we're
babe.
we're we're walking, and this we walk by this dog, and it kind of lunges at her a little bit, and she froze up, just so afraid. And then the second that the dog walked away, she shook a little bit, and then she's just like, "Do, do, 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 do." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is it. This is it." She's having a, like, stress response, and she's moving it out of her body so she can go on with her life. And I
Mhm.
realized what I had been doing, I had just been sitting in this stress and not moving and not getting it out of my body. And I realized that animals do this all the time,
Yes.
but we'd been conditioned not to. And that
Yes.
was what kind of unlocked the journey into somatic work and deep subconscious work and taking a more holistic approach to mental health.
I love that it's through dogs. I have 2 dogs.
Yes.
I'm such a dog lover, and you can learn so much, especially about their stress response and relaxation response. I mean, my dog saw a coyote this morning, and his response was so interesting to me because it was just focused attention, and just really checking out and wasn't scared, but certainly
Mm.
did the shaking thing and then walked off and was like, "Doo, doo, doo, doo," everything was fine, even though
We don't do
there was
that.
a
We don't
coyote.
even yawn in the office. We're like,
I
"Oh, well,
know.
you hear us sighing."
I know. Well, we're conditioned not to show these things, and we're conditioned not to do anything in response. So give me a picture of, what you developed into as your method. Like, what are some of the somatic techniques that people can employ to try to reset their nervous system?
Well, I think what I teach is very similar to what you teach. It's this inner knowing that we all have, right? So I teach something that's called stop, drop, and regulate. So first of all, you stop what you're doing. When you are having a negative emotion, when you are feeling that pin in your stomach, when your chest tightens up, when your shoulders come up, you stop. You go, okay, I'm not feeling great, right? That's step one. Because if you
Mhm.
don't have awareness of something, if you just go into the trigger, without that awareness, then you have the same things happen over and over again and you don't feel good. So that's step one. You stop. Next is you drop. You drop
Mhm.
into your body and you ask yourself, what kind of movement would feel good? Because you know in the moment, if you are feeling some type of way and you want to scream and just hit some things, that's going
Mhm.
to tell you. If you need to just sit in your chair and hug yourself and rock back and forth and just say, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to be okay, your body knows how to do that too.
Mhm.
And then the next
Yes.
step is just to do it. You regulate. You do that to 3 to 5 minutes till the emotion moves through your body, till you get to a point where you can think again.
Yes. I love that I think you're a little bit more unique because you incorporate like full body movements
Yeah.
rather than, some of the kind of more tried and
Yeah.
true, like, you know, mainstream ways to do it, like, your deep breathing or trying
Mhm.
to activate your vagus nerve by
Mhm.
splashing cold water on your
Yeah.
face. But certainly, movement, I don't think is on people's radar to do because a lot of times when they get into a panic mode,
Mhm.
they freeze, which is, of course, a trauma response. So, a lot of people's response to extreme stress is just to be frozen and not move. How do you help people remind themselves that movement is the way? Like, what is something that they can, you know, go quickly to
Mm.
remind themselves about movement?
Well, they just need to know. I think knowing in advance that movement is medicine, right? We move the least as a species that we ever have, and we are the most stressed, anxious, and unhappy that we've ever been.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Just sitting for an hour will raise your cortisol, your stress hormone, by 15%. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Mhm.
And so it becomes just a process of like, okay, stop, drop, regulate. Maybe for the first couple minutes, you are doing that breathing
Mhm.
and you're just returning to your body. And then you stand up and you take a little walk and you feel better. But just
Yes.
knowing that movement is medicine and that
Mhm.
you have an innate knowing of what is going to feel good is really powerful. It's not
Yes.
rocket scientist. It's not rocket science, you know? There's no
Yes.
like special movement like that you can do. I can just make stuff up. One
Tell
of my
us some of the things that you've made up. It was
oh,
so fun to watch in your speech,
yeah,
some of
when
the
I
things that you do.
sometimes when I get frustrated, when I just feel like I'm just done with everybody and everything, I will just inhale up big and I will just exhale and go,
Ah, that's
wow.
great.
Throw my arms up, swing them down, and just let every kind of like, those inflatable men at the car dealerships. You can do things like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Instead
I
of
love
me
it.
going off on one of my employees, I'm gonna do that for 5 minutes, and I'm gonna save myself a lot of drama.
Yes, oh my
5
goodness.
minutes can save you 5 hours of drama.
Yes. I, have been doing, fire survivor relief efforts for
Amazing.
people who were impacted by the fire, and we do them at this place called the Healing Equine Ranch.
Mm.
And my partner, who owns the ranch, talks a lot about stress that she sees through her horses and how the horses tend
Ooh.
to regulate, which is really similar to Mars to any animal. But this is something that I've picked up just from watching the horses. But when they see something and after the stress passes, they're
Yeah,
and that is super stress relieving. It's
totally.
really powerful. So, yes, we can start to create, and we don't even have to have somebody's set movement ideas. All you have to do is just get up and move. And I think one really super simple, easy way to remind yourself is to set a little
Yeah.
timer. If you have like an Apple Watch or whatever, they usually remind you time to stand up, and then
Yeah.
that can be like a regular practice that you employ
Oh,
so
yes.
that
5
stress.
minutes every hour, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I would say too that there are so many powerful things that you can do somatically, on a longer basis,
Mhm.
like progressive muscle relaxation. Meditation is my go-to. And
Love.
I'm not that person that you have to sit rigidly in like lotus position or whatever. I lie down to
Mhm.
meditate. I don't care if I fall asleep sometimes
Right.
because then I just need the nap. But meditating in a completely relaxed state is also incredibly stress relieving. So let's actually talk you know, about high achievers in particular.
Mhm.
You work with a lot of high achievers, and give me kind of that general picture, like of the high achiever. What are their characteristics normally?
They will push their way through anything at the expense of their health. They are driven, they are determined, and they are ready to grind and go, 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 go. And
Mm,
also, I will say, high achievers, a lot of them, it's very like shocking. They're so good at the things that they do, but when it comes to basic habits that support the nervous system, so many of them do not do that. I just finished up a project. I was working with over 100 leaders at the SoCal Gas Company, right? So
wow.
we're talking like leadership, like awesome, in it to win it. And one of the first things that we did is we talked about the morning energy vampires that you have that basically suck your joy away and increase your cortisol.
Yes.
Yeah, and for most of us, what do most of us do in the morning? We turn off our alarms on our phones, and then all of a sudden we're scrolling.
Yep.
And that's a brutal way to start your day because you are, like, triggering so much, and you're training your brain to seek dopamine for the rest of the day. A
Yes.
lot of high achievers don't move in the morning. A lot
Nope.
of high achievers aren't drinking water in the morning. It's the basic things that they've gotten really good at their niche, and they've forgotten about the basic things that you do as a human to take care of the only home you live in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yes. So what do you see as a result of that constant go, go, go?
Yeah, they hit a wall. And a lot of them, they are just kind of living their life for work, for work, for work, for work. And that's that.
Why do you think that is? I always like to delve into the
Mhm.
psychology of that, and I
Well,
have a
that's a
lot of
great
different
question.
theories myself.
I would love to hear yours. I think that, like, people who do that, it's great to be good at the things that you're really, really good at. And you get that positive reinforcement, so it encourages you to do more of that. And it becomes
Mhm.
addictive,
Yep.
right? Stress is something that becomes extremely addictive.
Mhm.
We have our allostatic load, our baseline of stress, right? And
Mhm.
over time, when your nervous system doesn't recover, it gets elevated. And
Right.
then the second you start to go below that stress baseline that's super, super high, you're sitting at home on a Saturday and you're like, I should be working right now. Doesn't fit the
Mhm.
nervous system. So I think it's
Mhm.
addictive. And I think
Yes.
we're really good at it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I find that there are kind of 2 camps in the high
Mm,
achiever camps. I think that there are the ones that are just driven by passion,
mm.
that are
Yes.
in love with it, and they don't even necessarily see it as work.
Right.
And interestingly enough, with that camp, I feel like there are fewer incidences of like complete burnout.
Yes.
They may go, 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 go,
Mm.
but they tend to also see it as a mission, and if
Yes.
it's their mission, then they incorporate a lot of self-care practices. They're doing things that help to offset that go, go, go. I would say you fall into that camp, and
Mhm.
so many people that we saw at TEDx Temecula fall into that camp where it's just a passion, and you can see that that mission, like, lights them up.
Yes, for
And
sure.
then there's another camp, and that's not to say that they don't have passion about what they're doing, but I think that they're driven actually by a trauma response.
Oh.
Usually, you will see people who are super high achievers and they are highly stressed and anxious. They're usually the people pleasers, right? So, people pleasers fall into fawning as a
Mhm.
trauma response. And usually, they've done that because they're scanning the room and they've grown up with caregivers that have been so demanding
Mhm.
and so unpredictable that you just try to predict everything. Like, if I can just make everybody calm down, that would be great. If I could be this best person that this
Yeah.
person wants me to be, if I can do all of these things and achieve all of these things, then I have safety. And you never really fully have safety because you
No.
never fully please anybody, and you certainly don't please yourself. And
Mhm.
those are the type of people that tend to really burn themselves out. They don't necessarily even sometimes love what they're doing. They've
Mhm.
just done it because they were told to do that, or that would please their caregivers. So, how would you, if you saw somebody in that camp, not to delve into the psychological
Yep.
aspects of it really, but how would you help them realize what's happening in their body and how that relates to their high achieving?
That's so great. Yeah, it is a big difference between purpose-driven high achievers and, people who are not fully in alignment with what their, like, deep inner knowing their soul wants.
Right?
So, with them, you don't dive into the deep stuff right away. You just learn how to start listening to your body.
Yeah.
Right? Some people are so cut off from their stress responses, they just or they just think it's normal. They're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm getting old, my body hurts, and, I'm bloated all the time, and I can't think straight, and that's just normal, and I have ADHD, so give me more Adderall." You know?
Mhm.
So, that there's a little bit of education that comes there first, and then also we do a lot of awareness work. So, just like how you suggested setting those alarms, I suggest setting alarm to do movement and also to check in with yourself and say, "How am I feeling? Where do I feel it in my body?"
Yes.
Just creating that interoception is so important.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that
But
was the core of my talk, and our talks were they're similar in a
yeah.
way. Mine was really about how can we navigate back to listening to
Mm,
our intuitive and hormonal selves in the era of diet culture, especially with the advent of these weight loss medications. And our method is essentially the
mhm,
same in that if you can, drop into your body by becoming aware of your breathing and by slowing yourself down
mm,
and trying to get the mind offline and get back into the body and slow down and
yeah.
just listen to what your body tells you. We're so conditioned out of that not to do that, to just go, 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 to, push through things, to try to hack our bodies,
Mhm.
to try to like, restrict them into, whatever shape we think that they should fit into. But when you actually slow down, your body's just going to tell you. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
tell you exactly what it wants. It's gonna say, "I need to get up, I need to move," or
Mhm.
"I need to take a nap,"
Yep.
or "I am hungry," or "I'm sad."
And
And
that
when
can
you
be
actually tune in and listen, what happens in the body? Can you go into a little bit of the science of what happens in the body when you actually do slow down, listen, and calm the nervous system?
yeah, you literally start to calm your nervous system. That's it,
Mhm.
right? You have to have 3 things to fix any problem. You have to have awareness of the problem, otherwise you're not gonna fix it. So if you don't
Mhm.
stop and you don't listen to your body and you don't know what's happening and you're just pushing through things. Look, I was guilty of this last week. I was, like, in the gym and I was getting all mad at myself and I was like, "Why am I not doing great today?
Mhm.
Rah!" My physical therapist she was like, "Well, it sounds like your nervous system's just been kinda taxed. You've been working a lot. You've been, like, making a lot of things happen." I'm like, "Yeah, but I've been in my joy." And she's like, "It doesn't matter. Like, you're still tired. Maybe you need to calm down for a few days." And I did.
There you go.
Yeah, so you gotta have awareness, and then you have to have knowledge to solve a problem, and then you have to actually do the things that the awareness
Yes.
provides you and the knowledge that you have does.
Yes. And I would say to people before we end on this half, I can't even believe we're already out of
What?
time for this half, is that a lot of people don't trust what that voice says.
No, of
And
course not.
I would just like to put out the message that that voice is never wrong.
Mm.
If you're not up here and you're not thinking about all of the fearful things and all the things that could go wrong and what's wrong with you, and you're actually in your body and you're calm and you're listening, that voice is never wrong. And if we could all just trust that,
Mhm.
think about how much more we could be, do, have
Yes.
when we're in this nervous system state. So I'm so grateful there are people out there like you who have realized this, who've gone through that struggle and who have found ways to do this. And we're going to talk more about that in the second half of just, kind of going through how people can, reconnect with their bodies, how they may have misconceptions about stress and all of that. So will you come back and join me?
Absolutely.
Yay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Tune in next time for the second half of this incredible interview with TEDx Temecula speaker, founder of the Phoenix Effect, and nervous system coach, Beth Bishop. Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Insight Podcast. Please remember the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Insight Podcast tab. And follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.